Hello everyone and welcome to the 2018 Assetto Corsa Offline Championship for the first race of the season here at Albert Park. My name is Miran FG, back again for this wonderful season. And it feels great to be back. We've obviously had a season break. We now return with the first race of the 2018 main tier season. New drivers, new cars, and new tracks await us. It's going to be a long and exciting season. But let's go through this track then before we get started with anything. Here it is on our screen, actually. The Albert Park circuit. We've got 16 corners, and it was built or first raced here in 1996, obviously around the Albert Park, the lake. Sorry, not the park, the lake. It's called Albert Park though. But the Grand Prix circuit, 5.3 kilometers of length, as I said, 16 turns. We've got 2 DRS zones. We've got one after turn 12 and one down the start-finish straight. And a few corners. Turn 1 is a prime opportunity to overtake. And here, as we see into turn 3, there's Milka Singh actually attempting a move. But turns 3 and 4 are very good for overtaking as well. And then we've got turn 14, which is, turn 13, which is right after a DRS zone. That is it for the track characteristics then. We've got an exciting season ahead of us, that must be said. We've got a lot of new drivers, we've got new cars, new team performances. Obviously, pre-season testing isn't really indicative of the car performances, so this is the first time we're going to see all 20 drivers pushing into the limit, and we're going to see the capabilities of the drivers and the capabilities of the cars. We have a few people out on track at the moment. Here is one of the debutants this season, Milka Singh, who is making his debut at Alfa Romeo Sauber. Obviously, Sauber have what am I going to say? Sauber are sponsored by Alfa Romeo now, so their official constructor name is Alfa Romeo Sauber. We'll be seeing some returning faces as well. Here's Miran FG back in the car, in the Ferrari, and ahead of him is a rookie, actually. That is Tomas Mandic, the Formula 2 champion last year. And there's his teammate Wojtek Kulasek. So, Mandic is going to be one to watch this season as well. Formula 2 champion. We're going to see how he will perform in the Renault. People have very high expectations for him. And some other F2 faces as well. Namely Linus Timell and Laban Zasnishka, if you can count him as well. Timell in the McLaren, obviously, and Zasnishka in the Williams. He's making his full-time debut this season. And then we got some pretty big driver changes as well. We got Blake Moore to Force India and Alexander Arnold to Mercedes. And then some other things as well. But we're having the first times come in now. Defending champion Dennis Groff is currently faster. But there goes Alexander Arnold, a 10th faster. And Arnold gets topped by his Mercedes teammate Jesper Johansson. And Miran FG goes into 4th at the moment. The man who won here last year is going to want to do it again, as Kulasek seems to be stuck behind, I believe that is Franco Gamba. But Alfred Klaus actually went fastest, 2/10 faster than Johan Sonder. Klaus had, if I recall to last year, Klaus had a very good chance of winning. He looked strong around the circuit. So, this is probably one of the circuits where he performs better. And he lost out the win, obviously, during the race after stumbling upon traffic. But here he is, and actually behind a bit of traffic at the moment. I think that is Linus Timell, or it could be Anis Paratsky, I don't know yet. We can't really see the numbers. Obviously, this is the first season in the ACOC as well where we run custom numbers, so all the drivers will be sporting their own numbers, which is pretty nice. As here we have Wojtek Kulasek, who is running, namely number 32. So yeah, there's a bit of handling information for you. Dennis Graf improves on his lap time, goes up into second. And Baron FG in P6, 5/10 off. Alex Arnold goes up into P3, just ahead of his Mercedes teammate Jesper Johansson by 0.3 of a second. Apologies. Dennis Graf is closing in on, I believe, that is, I was going to say Alexander Arnold, but he's not Force India anymore. That is, I think, like more. Here's Milka Singh, P16. This is his first qualifying session in Formula 1. He's going to cross the line now, and we'll see if it will be an improvement for him. It's not for the Indian driver. He stays P16, but one person that does improve is Victor Albom. He's also making his full-time Formula 1 debut this race, up into P9 he's at the moment, and just behind Ruslan Postic in P8, so the Hasses are showing improvement, and we'll see if they can fight for points this season. Alfred Klaus is into the pit lane. Here is Dennis Graf, the German. He's still behind that Force India, and I'm not sure who it is yet. He's actually attempted a dive, but yeah, that wouldn't work, and he comes into the pit lane. That would almost certainly have been a lap ruiner for him anyways, as Mohammed Patel goes up into P2, making it a Red Bull front row lockout with 13 minutes remaining. Here's Milka Singh. We're going to see his first sector time. It's 1.2 off. As Kulisek improves into P14, and Arnold goes up into P2 now. Johansson sets an improvement, but it's not enough to move him up positions yet, as here comes Miran FG and Thomas Mandic into the pit lane. So people are preparing to go out for their second rounds. Here's Josef Fredrik Suto, and he is last place at the moment. So the Williams are appearing to showing signs of struggle in the first race of the season. They look very, very slow, and they look quite slow in preseason testing as well. As there's Victor Albon goes P7. The Haas has shown rapid signs of improvement, actually, and I think they will be able to score points this season. But the Dane goes up at the P7, just behind Miran FG, and I think with the Williams being slow, my point has been proven. Josef Fredrik Suto improves, but he is about 0.4 off Balint Jolga in P19. Jolga obviously moved from Sauber to Toro Rosso, and accompanying him there is Rahul Patel. There is the man who replaced Rahul Patel, Thomas Mandic. The Croatian makes his F1 debut as well. Obviously was reserved for Renault last year, and now he is driving with the team. But we're going to see Alexander Arnold now as he's going to cross the line. Will it be an improvement for the German in the Mercedes? No, it isn't. But there behind him was... no, sorry, I think it was... Yeah, ahead of him was Wojtek Kulisek, who goes up into P7. So the battle in the top midfield, what used to be Williams and Force India, have now become Renault and Haas. So we're going to see a very, very nice scrap for the championship, potentially between those two teams and those four drivers. And here is Alexander Arnold, P2 in his first ever qualifying for Mercedes at the moment. That's probably gonna make him quite pleased. So there's Mohammed Patel trying to get past, I believe that was Blake Moore, I'm not really sure, but yeah, Dennis Graf is 2/10 off in sector 1. We might see an improvement for him, but yeah, we can't be sure just yet. Mohammed Patel might be on an improvement as well, but the times in the top 4, top 5 are looking very close, as there is the Red Bull sister car, actually, of I can't really see who that is, but I think that was Rahul Patel. I didn't really catch a glimpse at the number, but I think that was Rahul Patel trying to overtake Mohammed Patel. So yeah, we've got two Patels in the Red Bull family, which is a bit weird to say. As Johansson and McIntyre come into the pit lane. Here's Alex Arnold. He's still stuck behind that Renault with 10 minutes to go. I think the logical choice would be to come into the pit lane now and then go out again when there's no traffic. Here's Mohammed Patel as well, stuck behind traffic. So I think if I were any of the front runners, I'd pit and then I'd come out when there aren't many drivers out. But you can see that Patel can't get past that Force India. I think that is Blake Moore, actually. I'm not sure. But the Force Indias are not looking very good, actually, either. P13 for Blake Moore and P16 for Franco Gamba. So I think they're just struggling a bit with the car, maybe. I'm not really sure. As Ruslan Protic goes up to P9, Thomas Mandic went up into P8 as well, but obviously Protic went P8, so he's up into P8 now, the Russian. Protic, very consistent driver last season, so he's going to want to capitalize off that pace he had, especially in the later stage of the season, and we're going to see if that will be an improvement. Lawan Zasnishkai brings himself off the back row up into P16, as Arnold is into the pit lane now, so maybe he's listening to my advice. Mohammed Patel, I think this might be an in-lap for him. No, it's not, so we're gonna see if it will be an improvement for the British driver. As here's Franco Gamba, the man in P17, is really not where he wants to be right now. And yeah, it's not going to be an improvement for him either. He's about 10 seconds also. I think he must have gone off somewhere. But the McLarens are looking good as well. Ennis Bartschke's in P11 and Linus Timel is in P12. So I think the McLarens could be on for some points today. We're going to see. But yeah, they're going to have to challenge this man if they want some points. Victor Olbom, as Thomas Mandic goes P7. Miran Evge is going to cross the line. We're going to see if it will be an improvement for the Swedish driver, and he crosses the line, improves, but he stays P6. As Milka Singh improved, but he hasn't improved on his position either. As Arnold is, I think he's improved on his sector 1, but not by a lot, so I don't know if this will be an improvement. Linus Timel, a 1:28.249, goes faster than his McLaren teammate, so he's into P11 now. Miran Evge, the man who won it last year, 4 hundredths off Alfred Klaus in sector 1 there. As I think Kulasek 8/10 off on his lap time. I think there went Lewis McIntyre. That looks like, yeah, that's Lewis McIntyre, number 26. As Mohammed Patel actually goes fastest, so we must have missed that. But he's gone to the top of the timing sheets, beats out his Red Bull teammate Alfred Klaus. But Alex Arnold might be on for a lap here. I think it will be an improvement, but we're gonna see if he can improve. Oh no, it's an outlap. Well, yeah, that was a bit anticlimactic. But yeah, we're gonna see what lap time will be for Arnold. We're gonna see what lap time now will be for Miran Evge, as he's going to cross the line, and I don't think it's an improvement, and no, it isn't. So we're having most improvements coming from the midfield now. We've just had Patel take pole, but I think Album improved up at the P9 as well, so he's gone ahead of his Haas teammate Ruslan Protsiuk. Timel is improved, but not enough to bring the Swede out of P11. As Timel's teammate Parashi is going to cross the line. Do not think will be an improvement for him as well, but yeah, we're gonna see Protsiuk a second off on his fastest lap, off pole. But yeah, it's gonna be, with 5 minutes remaining, we've got a Red Bull front row lockout at the moment, with Alex Arnold in 3rd. And then Dennis Graf, Jesper Johansson, and Miran Evge in P6. And just as I say that, Jesper Johansson goes pole, so the commentator's curse has played into effect, as the Super Swede Johansson goes up into pole, but by a very small margin. That is only a hundredth of a second. I keep saying thousands. Keep saying thousandth, and I don't know why. But Johansson has gone onto provisional pole by a hundredth of a second, so we're going to see if anyone will be able to challenge that time. But for now, Johansson will hold pole position from Mohammed Patel and Alfred Klaus, and the pole has not lasted by a long because Miran Evji absolutely smashes that time, goes up into the 126s, so he's up in, so at 126.7. That is a very, very strong lap time. Alfred Klaus is gonna cross the line to start his lap. But yeah, 126.7, 3/10 clear of Johansson, so that was a very, very good lap time from Miran Evji to put it up into pole at the moment with 4 minutes remaining. We're gonna see if anyone will be able to equal that time. Evji obviously held the pole here last season as well, so yeah, we're gonna see if he can hold on to that pole position. But it's gonna be tight for the drivers because we are closing in on about 4 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Alfred Klaus is on the lap, but that is Linus Timell, his fellow countryman, who is holding him up there. Johansson improves a 127.0, but yeah, not enough to take pole yet. Alfred Klaus, we're gonna see his sector 2 time. I think he was off FG there, and yes, he was. But yeah, I think he's being held up by the McLaren, so Klaus must be a bit frustrated at the moment. Here's Ruslan Protic, the Russian. We're gonna see what time it will be for him as he crosses the line, and it is no improvement, or it is an improvement from Protic. He beats out his teammate Victor Album. They've been going back and forth, the two Haas teammates, and there's Klaus coming through the final corner. There comes Timell into the pit lane, so he's gonna have a bit of free air now. As Rail Patel goes up into P14, we're going to see Klaus. This will not be an improvement for him, and yeah, it isn't. You can see how much time he lost behind the McLaren. As Kulase comes into the pit lane, 3 minutes remain now. As Patel is on a lap time here as he goes into turn 13. Yeah, he looks to be coming into the pit lane. Yes, he is. And I also did want to mention that I said turn 13. That was a mistake for me. That was turn 15, I think. So yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, at the moment, there goes Lewis McIntyre into P15. He makes his debut for Sauber. Or not his debut, but he obviously, in his first race for Sauber, he's going to want to impress. And Sauber looked to be a tiny bit better, but not better by a lot. So I think they're kind of just in the same place where they were last season. As most people are coming into the pit lane. We've got about 2 minutes remaining now. FG still remains on pole, 1:26.7, and then Johansson 1:26.9. So only 2 people have been able to break the 1:26 barrier, as Klaus joins that club as well, goes up at P2, a 1:26.8. So we've got a Swedish front row lockout and a Swedish man in third. So yeah, guys, this is totally not rigged, I swear. But we're gonna see if it will be enough for any of these drivers to score a pole position. Mohamed Patel's in the pit lane, so he is out. He's finished at the moment. But FG, Klaus, Johansson, Arnold, and Graf, all of those 5 drivers. No, Graf comes into the pit lane. That is now 4 drivers that can score pole position. We're not sure if Arnold's going to come into the pit lane. We're going to see if he will. No, he doesn't. So Arnold stays out. We're going to see if it will be an improvement. No, he's into the pit lane. Been anticlimactic for that as well, but that is Arnold out. So we got FG, Klaus, and Johansson. The 3 Swedes are going to fight for pole position now. As here's Josef Fredrik Suto. For some reason. As he goes through the Clark chicane. Here's Alfred Clausen. Oh no! He's behind the Haas of Victor Album, so he's been held up on his lap. And I think that might actually ruin his chance of taking pole. And yes, it has. 1.5 off. We're going to see where Jesper Johansson is. He is in clear air, so he's got a bit of an advantage. But will he be faster than FG? The gap between those 2 drivers, 2:10 at the moment. The checker flag is out, waiting for 11 cars to cross the line. And I think Jesper Johansson is going to be the first of those drivers. So we're going to watch Johansson as he's actually coming to the pit lane. So he's aborted his lap, so Johansson cannot take pole. And Klaus looks not to be able to take pole either. So I think this might be the pole for Miran Evji. Klaus might be able to get a lap in, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. So I'd say his best shot is just coming into the pit lane, because he's got a Haas and a Toro Rosso out of him. So I think it's just no use for Klaus to go out any further. Franco Gamba goes P13, just ahead of Enis Parachki. But I think, yeah, we're going to watch these three guys. We're going to watch the Toro Rosso of Jolga, then it is Victor Alderman, then it's Alfred Klaus. So we're going to watch where those three guys will qualify. So the first to cross the line will be Balint Jolga as Klaus comes into the pit lane. That's just a logical move to make. We're going to see Jolga and Alderman as they cross the line. Jolga improves into P14, Alderman it's no improvement. And I think that is the final lap time. And it's Miran Evji on pole once again here at Australia. And yeah, so Miran Evji, let's go. Before we start this Australian Grand Prix, let us go through the grid for one final time. Miran Evji on pole once again here at Albert Park. And accompanying me on the front row once again is Alfred Klaus. And Jesper Johansson starts third. Then in the second row is Mohamed Patel as well. Then it's Alexander Arnold in his first race for Mercedes, and then it is defending champion Dennis Graf in P6. Then we have the two Renaults of Kulasek and Mandic in P7 and P8, and the two Hasses of Ruslan Procek and Victor Albom rallying at the points. Then it's Blake Moore in P11, maybe not where he wanted to be. He probably would like to be in the points, but I think he will be able to do it anyway. And then it is Linus Timell in his first start for McLaren, and first start in F1, qualifies P12. Behind him is Franco Gamba, and then it is Balint Jolga in P14. I believe that's a qualifying best for the Hungarian. And then it is Enis Parachki in P15. And his former teammate, Lewis McIntyre, in P16. Then is Rail Patel and Joseph Frederick Suto in P17 and P18. Milka Singh in P19. And rounding out the grid is Laban Zasnishkai. So, let's get underway for this Australian Grand Prix. 29 laps await us. It's Miran Evji on pole and Alfred Klaus in second. And we are underway here in Australia, and everyone seems to get away quite well, but I think Klaus is actually almost alongside Evji now on the inside. We'll be able to get it though, as we're gonna see, but we didn't quite catch a glimpse of that because the autocam cut away. But I think Evji leads. Yes, he does, but Johansson very, very close to Alfred Klaus there. So I think Dennis Graf is trying to get past Alexander Arnold, as yes, he is. There goes Dennis Graf. That's not Dennis Graf there. Dennis Graf there on P5. I don't know why the autocam's not switching to the battle up ahead, but there you can see in the background that was Blake Moore squeezing out Linus Timell there. Very aggressive move, but yeah, Jolga's up at the P13. I think Timell and Moore are still dueling, as Jolga did go off there a bit, but you can see there the Force India of Franco Gamba's actually caught up to Blake Moore, but Miran Evji leads the Australian Grand Prix from Alfred Klaus, from Jesper Johansson, Mohamed Patel and Dennis Graf. So Graf has gone up one position during the start. And Franco Gamba there, he looks to be closing in on his new Force India teammate Blake Moore. Two very skilled drivers. Obviously both were in contention. I was going to say both were in contention for that Mercedes seat, but obviously Alex Arnold got that seat. But yeah, at the moment they're P12 and P13, and I think Timell did go up a position as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think he overtook Blake Moore actually. So a good start from Linus Timell. As yeah, the overtaking seems to have ceased at the moment. Everyone is settling into some gaps to try and follow each other, but yeah, still relatively close gaps, as you can see there on the main on the track map there on the right. FG leads by 9/10 of a second, so I think it might be the win for FG unless something happens. We obviously saw something happen here with the leaders at Albert Park last year, but yeah, we're not sure if that will be the same case again. Johansson looks to be closing in a bit on Klaus. Gap's about 4 to 5 tenths between the two Swedes at the moment. As here is the closest gap at the moment. It's Parashki to Zholga. That 2018 McLaren looks to be a bit more pacey, so we're gonna see if they will be able to get past the Toro Rosso. But the Toro Rosso looks pretty good as well. So yeah, I think it might be almost equal machinery. As we go on to lap 3, Dennis Groff is at the fastest lap of 129.1. So he's a bit on the pace at the moment, but you can see that Patel and Klaus also set a very similar lap time. So I think everyone in the top 6 is currently quite equal on pace. Johansson looks to be fading a bit away from Alfred Klaus at the moment, but I think that might be temporary. They're still very, very close to each other, and I think FG might have had a bit of a mistake, because that gap that was 9/10 is now down to 5/10. So the battle for the lead may not actually be over just yet. As here's Ruslan Protzik is the gap to Thomas Mandis for him is quite far away. It's almost a second, and his teammate Victor Albom is in P10. So it's gonna be double points for Haas if they finish like this. But Parashki is still closing in on Zholga through the Clark chicane at the moment. As here is Miron FG. He's going to want to take his... It's going to be a good start for him, taking the first win of the season, but you don't want to call it too early. We're only on lap 3 of 29, so anything can still happen, and it's been proved here before. So yeah, don't go just yet, as we are now on lap 4 of 29. Everyone in the top 5 is about 5/10 from each other. Johansson has closed the gap a tiny bit. I think Klaus made a mistake somewhere, because that gap to FG is increased and the gap to Johansson has decreased. So we may see an overtake soon, but that gap's back up to 5/10 to Johansson. So yeah, I don't think Johansson was able to make the move there, as Paratsky still hunting down Zholga, but his efforts are unfruitful at the moment. But here is Franco Gamma, never mind. Here is Dennis Groff, the 2017 champion. Obviously, he's going to want to hunt for the championship once again this season, and we're going to see if he can accomplish that. But yeah, he's got a lot of people to contend with. Obviously, we saw a lot of different championship contenders last season. So it's anyone's game in the top 3 teams on who's going to win their championship. But yeah, currently Alfred Klaus has actually closed the gap on Miran FG once again. But I don't think he is close enough to strike at the moment. And that seems to be the case, actually, because yeah, you can see they're kind of just in a bit of a stalemate at the moment, which the AI seem to like to do sometimes. But Enis Parachki actually has closed the gap a bit on Balan Zholga, but once again, not enough to make a move. Obviously, with the 2018 ACOC season, if you listen closely to the different onboards, you can hear that the engines are different. So some engines have better top speed, and yeah, it's quite an interesting mechanic. So the top speeds vary depending on what engine supplier the teams have. So yeah, it's actually a quite interesting feature that we've added, and I think it will provide for some very, very nice overtakes on long straights. Obviously, we're going to China for for the first time this season, and that obviously has a very, very long straight, so expect to see some overtakes there. And then we're going to Baku as well, and then Monza. But yeah, FG seems to be holding that gap around 4 tenths at the moment, so I think he must have made a mistake somewhere once again. And Johansson's following closely by, so none of the people in the top 3 are able to get past each other. Here's Lewis McIntyre under pressure from his fellow countryman Rahul Patel there in the background. As you can see there, the gap has actually increased a tiny bit to the lead. So, but you can still see how many cars are following by there. So I think if there's a bit of a train there going on. As Lewis McIntyre now has to defend from Rahul Patel. Obviously, Patel stuck behind, or stuck in between a sour sandwich at the moment. As here's Alexander Arnold, he's closing in on the world champion Dennis Groff through the Clark curve now, and I think he actually lifted a bit there. I'm not really sure why, but that gap has gone down, or gone up by a tenth. My apologies. As we see a very nice aerial shot there. And that shot is actually very nice because it really goes to show the signifying gaps between the drivers. As the gaps, the people in the top 4 seem to have spread out a bit now, so the gaps are around 5-6 tenths now. Well, it's not a lot, but it's still a bit, as Björn Auji sets the fastest lap now onto lap 7 of 29. Here is Lewis McIntyre, and no, never mind. Here is Jesper Johansson. He's going to want to start this season fresh. Obviously came off a win last season and some good performances, but his mid-season performance last season was lacking quite a lot, so he's going to want to be able to contend for the championship more regularly that season, or this season, that season. But yeah, here's Victor Albom. He's actually the gap to his teammate Ruslan Procek is increased actually. So yeah, but whatever happens, or not whatever happens, but if they finish like this, the two Haas's will be a double point scoring for Haas. So that will be a good result in their books. But I think Arnold is still chasing down Dennis Groff. Yes, he is, but that gap is back up to 5 tenths. Here's Anders Parachki. He's trying to close in on Balancioga as Miron FG improves on his lap time 1:28.7. So he's showing some good pace at the moment. FG obviously was in the championship fight in the first half of the season, and then he had a very big streak of not scoring podiums, and yeah, his teammate Dennis Groff took over at the championship lead. Yeah, we had a lot of different championship contenders last season. I think we will have a few more this season as well. But these are new cars and new regulations. Obviously, we've had the introduction of the Halo device there for the first time in the ACOC. No, actually not the first time if you count Formula E, but we don't count Formula E. But in real life, this was the first implementation of the Halo device in Formula 1. As here's Jesper Johansson closing in on Albert Klaus, the Mercedes engine, paying him dividends. Obviously, in 2018, the Red Bull ran Renault power, and as we all know, that wasn't the greatest engine. So, as that is Balancioga actually went off there at turn 13. So, yeah, yellow flag was out there for a temporary amount of time. There's our new graphic. as the yellow flag is gone. But yeah, that was Jolga off, and that allowed Parachka to get past. So that sees Enis Parachka up into P14, but he is a long way off Franco Gamba at the moment, 2.7. So if Ennis can catch up to him, that is questionable. As here's Milka Singh. Behind him is Joseph Fredrik Suto. The Williamses are last place at the moment. That is really not where they want to be in this season. So yeah, we'll see if they can score anything later. But yeah, here's Jesper Johansson. He's closed the gap a tiny bit on Alfred Klaus. You can see he is gaining on the straights a bit, but not enough to make moves just yet. And yeah, Graf is catching up to Mohammed Patel as well, who I think has made a tiny mistake somewhere because he has lost out time to Mohammed. No, he's lost out time to Jesper Johansson. My apologies. As here's Vojta Kulasek in P7. There in the background, closely by, is his teammate Tomas Bandic. It's going to be points for the Croatian rookie in his first ever race. That's definitely going to look good for him. As we're soon approaching, we're now on lap 10 of 29. 19 laps remain in this Australian Grand Prix. There is Milka Singh, no, Lewis McIntyre, apologies, still being hunted down by Rahul Patel, but Patel's not been able to make a move on his fellow British driver. Graf has not been able to close the gap on Mohammed Patel either. So yeah, and I think FG has just absolutely checked out, because look at that gap, 1.7 seconds. So I think either Klaus has made a mistake or FG's just kicked it into gear or something, because he's absolutely gone. But yeah, that is a very big gap, and yeah, we're gonna see if that gap will be closed anytime soon. As here's Vojta Kulasek, his teammate Tomas Mandic just getting closer and closer, so we might see a move sometime soon. As Singh is under pressure from Joseph Fredrik Suto as well. And his teammate Laban Zasnishkai 3 seconds off Suto. So yeah, Zasnishkai is really not performing how he wanted to be in the first race of the season. I think that Williams must be a hard car to drive. Obviously, he did pretty okay in the Mercedes in the last 3 races he did. No podiums, but he did get very close. And he had some good qualifying performances as well. Obviously, the final race in Abu Dhabi, he crashed with Mohammed Patel, which put a DNF with him. I think that would probably have been the race. I think that was probably the most crucial DNF for him, because had he finished that race in good position, he might have been promoted into a better team, who knows. But yeah, he is still in F1 nonetheless, as his Slovakian teammate Josef Fredrik Suto in P19 chasing down Milka Singh, the rookie at the moment. And meanwhile, at the front, Alfred Klaus seems to have closed the gap on FG by a bit, and that proves my point, as he does at the fastest lap of 1:22. So he is chasing down FG by a bit. Johansson is fading away a bit from Klaus as well, so Klaus is showing a bit of pace here, but will he catch FG? We don't know yet. As here's Tomas Mandic. I think, will he make a move? No, he won't. But he is still very close, and I think Kulasek braked early there, so I think Mandic just reacted to that. And look, the gap's up at 5/10 now. So yeah, it's was a bit unfortunate for Thomas there, but he still remains P8. And it will be actually a very, very good result for Renault. They'll be P4 in the Constructors' Championship. Here's Dennis Groff trying to make a move on Mohamed Patel. Ooh, getting very close to the wall there, Dennis. And I think a bit of a lockup there, actually. It looked like he went very, very... he went a bit deep into that corner. And look at that, he's lost time as well. But, yeah, it was good defensive work from Mohamed Patel. And that sees him remain P4. But Alexander Arnold has closed up the gap to Dennis Groff a bit. So we're gonna see if Alex can get past his fellow countryman Dennis Groff. As a very nice aerial camera there shows gaps between the two drivers. As you can see, as all the drivers come through the lap times, you see everyone in the midfields in the 130s, Albom and Timel in the 29s. So the Renaults don't look very, very pacey at the moment. But the Hasses and the Renaults and McLarens, or not the Renaults, but the Hasses and the McLarens, they look pretty good, but we'll see if they can mount a challenge to the two Renaults in P8 and P9 later in this race, as Klaus is still chipping away at FG. 1.1 is the gap. Well, that's up to 1.2 just temporarily, but yeah, gap is 1.1 now. What used to be 1.7 is now 1.1, so Klaus has gained 6/10 in the span of 3 laps, so if he continues on this pace, he'll catch FG in a few laps time. So yeah, we'll see. As Thomas Mandic has once again closed the gap on his teammate Wojtek Kulasek. We're gonna see if he will be able to try a move onto the main straight. Obviously, equal machinery, equal engines, so none of them will have an advantage going down the main straight. And I think Mandic did brake later there and had to just press on the brakes to avoid going into the back of Kulasek, so he lost time there as well. Mohamed Patel set the fastest lap, so Patel is gaining a bit on Johansson, but not by much. I don't know what the gap is at the moment, or yeah, or not the gap, just how much he's gaining by. As Kulasek is doing a pretty good job at defending from Mandic, actually. Maybe a bit semi-unaware, but yeah. But as gaps begin to form in the lead... no, who am I kidding? Klaus, look at that. Klaus, 0.6 off FG, so he's already caught up. So I think FG has made a minor mistake somewhere, and that's allowed Klaus to catch up a bit. So Klaus just needs to continue this pace, and he might be able to get the lead, as we are halfway race distance at the moment. As Miran FG now is going to start lap 15 of 29. It's been a generally undisturbed race for this man. No one's really been challenging him, and yeah, he's doing pretty solidly, and that's probably going to allow him to take the win once again here at Albert Park. And Alfred Klaus is going to unfortunately come home in second once again at Australia, but nonetheless it's going to be a pretty good performance from Klaus, and I think he might be in for the championship this time. We're going to see if he can mount a challenge to the Ferraris about the championships. But yeah, he's 3/10 off, so he is actually gaining, but these AIs have a bit of a tendency of braking a bit too late, or no, sorry, braking in reaction to the other cars in front, which makes them lose time. But we're gonna see, as here's Alexander Arnold. He's caught up to Dennis Groff. Bit slower through the chicanes, but I think he might still be able to make a move. Maybe not into that corner, but yeah, we're gonna see as they go through turn 13 and now into turn 14. Gap is 4 tenths, and I think Arnold may get Graf on the main straight with the slipstream, but we're not sure. The slipstream doesn't really prove to be that much effective in the ACOC. As Arnold stays P6, but he's still in very close contention of Dennis Graf, so we maybe might see an overtake happen there soon, as Patel has actually caught up to Johansson, and Johansson's caught up to Klaus. So the gap seems to be closing a bit, but Graf is 1.7 off Mohammed Patel. So I think with Graf not showing the best performance, I think it might be a prime opportunity for Arnold to strike. He just has to be patient and wait for an opening. Gap to the lead is 7 tenths now, so Klaus is losing time. You can see there, it's just going up. Now it stopped at 8 tenths, so FG still remains in the lead. As there's Johansson on the back, in between those two Red Bulls, so Patel can act as a rear gunner, so to say. Johansson gonna have to defend from him while also trying to overtake Klaus, but we're gonna see. And I also think if we finish like this will be the first time in the ACOC the entire podium is gonna be completely comprised of one nationality, which is really strange to think, but yeah. It's certainly gonna be very, very strange to think about. You can all comment rigged how much you like, but yeah. So the gap is 1 second to FG now. Johansson is closing in a bit on Klaus. Here's the two Renaults. Mamdic still hasn't caught up to Kulasek yet, but yeah, we're gonna see if Mamdic can overtake him anytime soon. And Arnold looks to have I don't think Arnold is closing in enough to make a move, so he's just kind of staying around the 4 to 5 tenth area. As Enis Parachki, actually, the gap that was about 1 to 2 seconds is now 3 tenths. So Enis is looking very good in Australia. That McLaren looks far better from what it did last year. Obviously, they got a new power unit in that car. Obviously, switched from Honda to Renault. So there's only one constructor running the Honda engine at the moment, and that is Toro Rosso. As I think you can see, the parts are very close, but not enough to make a move. We're going to see if the Macedonian driver can make a move yet, or will be able to make a move, should I say. As here is Jesper Johansson, not been able to close the gap on Alfred Klaus. Here's the two Renaults once again heading through the same corner we saw them last time. Here's Enis Parachki. We're gonna focus on this battle for a bit as the trees obscure the cars. But yeah, here they are again. Heading through turn 3. We are gonna see if Parachki can catch up to Gamba. Two drivers that were far from that were definitely not competing with each other now remain almost equal on car performance, or we don't know yet. It's only the first race of the season, but yeah. Alexander Arnold has now caught up to Dennis Graf, but I don't think he's been able to make an overtake because all of his previous efforts have been unsuccessful, and we've already a comment about rig. So yeah. Sorry guys, but yeah, I've rigged this entire championship to go in my favor. But yeah, Enis Parachki is closing in on Franco Gamba. He's stayed there for about a lap now, but I don't think he's going to be able to make an overtake either because Yeah, that Renault engine is inferior to the it's inferior to the Mercedes engine. There was Lewis McIntyre with that blue and yellow helmet. That's obviously not his helmet, as he is in Marcus Ericsson's car, but we've swapped out the names and the numbers for Lewis McIntyre, so we'll just say that's Lewis McIntyre's helmet. Don't know why he's running the flag of Sweden, but I don't know. Lewis might like Sweden for some weird reason. But yeah, speaking of Sweden, Jesper Johansson has caught up to Alfred Klaus a bit. 6/10 is the gap between him at the moment. That's up to 7/10. So yeah. Yeah, we haven't really what was I gonna say? We haven't really seen a lot of overtakes at the front yet, if you could put it that way. We haven't seen any, actually. It's we've only seen Arnold on Graf, or Graf and Arnold, actually. And someone's put in chat, Banco Gamba, here I come. If that's supposed to be a joke, that is a really bad joke, because I do not understand what that joke is supposed to mean. But thank you for the quote-unquote joke, Echo Papa. I have no idea who you are, but welcome to the stream. As we are now on lap 20 of 29, so about 10 laps remain in this Australian Grand Prix. Miran FG's led every lap in this race so far, and Alfred Klaus in second, and Jesper Johansson in third. Mohamed Patel is fourth, and sending Dennis Graf, and then Alexander Arnold, Kodasek, Mandik, Trotsyuk, and Victor Albom rounding out the top 10. As here is Franco Gamba. Oh, it's Ennis. Oh, hi, Ennis. And speaking of Ennis, he is in P14 at the moment, still chasing down Franco Gamba. As here's Miran FG, you can see actually Klaus has closed the gap once again, but I do not think he's going to be able to make an overtake from all of the previous attempts. You should notice when I said here I come. Yeah, I probably should, but yeah, whatever. As here is Lewis McIntyre. Rail Patel is still behind him, but he has not been able to make a move. He's been stuck there for about 10 laps, it feels like, but he's still not been able to make a move. I think that's just something with the AI, I guess. But yeah, lap 21 of 29. So 8 laps remain for the first race in the ACOS season, but it does not end here. Tomorrow we have IndyCar, the first race of the IndyCar season at Daytona, so you don't want to miss that. And IndyCar, from what we've tested, is going to be really, really exciting, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We've got new drivers, we've got former F1 drivers, former F2 drivers, and the Formula E drivers all in one league, and then some rookies as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting and a really fun league to observe. But you can see, wow, look at how close the gap is now to FG. It's 3/10, but it's building up again as he heads up to the 4/10. And there's Alexander Arnold behind Dennis Graf. Graf is 4.1 of Mohamed Patel, so Arnold is losing heaps of time behind the world champion at the moment. As there's Wojtek Kodasek, he's closed. He has not closed up the gap. He's increased the gap to his teammate Thomas Mandic. Whatever Mandic does, it's gonna be points for him. So he'll be happy. He'll be very happy in P8 actually. As there's Ennis Price, he's still behind Franco Gamba. He's not been able to mount an overtake just yet. As we are lap 22 of 29. And Johansson's caught up a bit to Klaus as well, 4/10 of a second. Klaus closing the gap by a tiny bit, about a tenth, but he is still not able to make a move. So yeah, I think Klaus is gaining in sector 3 most of the time, but the AI don't like overtaking in sector 3. Actually, they don't like overtaking at all on the circuit. And you can see just how close everyone in the top 4 is. Look at that. Yet no one's able to make a move. No one's been able to gain or no one's been able to get an advantage on each other. So everyone's just kind of the same at the moment. Same goes for these two guys, Gamba and Parachki, and McIntyre and Patel. I think FG might be able to hold on off the lead. If he makes a mistake here, that's going to allow Klaus to go ahead, but he is driving quite solidly at the moment, must be said, in that Ferrari. Looks good as always, the prancing horse. As Jesper Johansson still stuck behind Alfred Klaus in the Red Bull Sandwich. There goes Alexander Arnold, actually. He's going to try the move on Dennis Graf, but it has not paid off, and he's lost a lot of time to Dennis Graf. So I think Arnold got a bit impatient there. But yeah, he's not been able to make a move just yet. As here's Wojtek Kulasek, nice angle there. Thomas Mandich is 3/10 off, so these guys are about equal on pace, I'd say. Maybe Mandich is actually a bit faster, I'd say, but it's still looking very, very equal between them, and we might see a move somewhere there because the gap between the Renaults are getting very close, and I think Mandich had a bit of a look there on the inside, and and that is actually Kulasek gone wide and lost out to Mandich there. So Thomas Mandich, in his first race for Renault and first race for F1, is up into P7, but I think Kulasek's going to challenge once again, and he was unsuccessful in that, so Kulasek's going to remain. Kulasek's gone down to P8, but he's in the slipstream of his rookie teammate. But yeah, very good driving from the Formula 2 champion. Forced his teammate into an error, and that's seen the Croatian up into P7. So yeah, strong driving from him. As here is Lewis McIntyre. You can see there just in the background, Lampans was 5.4 off Josef Fredrik Suto. So either something's wrong with his car or he's just really, really slow. Either way, this will be a race to forget for the Serbian. Look at the gap there. Look at the gap between Klaus and Johansson. 2/10 separate the two Swedish drivers. And is he actually going to try and move there? Yes, he is on the inside, but it has not worked. And that means he might have lost time to Mohamed Patel behind. And I think that is maybe what Red Bull wants to do, because if Johansson attempt to move on Klaus, they're going to duel ahead, and that's going to lose time, and that's going to allow Mohamed Patel to close by, to close in. So Johansson essentially is at a quite major disadvantage here, because whatever he does, he's going to lose time unless he gets past Klaus. And even then, he's going to have to defend from two Red Bulls. So Johansson is in a bit of a tough spot at the moment, to say the least, as Klaus is chasing down Mir and FG. I don't think he's going to be able to overtake, as the gap is already increasing. So that gap is fluctuating quite a lot. Alexander Arnold is going to want another shot at Dennis Graf, but yeah, we can't be sure just yet. I think Enis Parachki is closing in on Franco Gao, actually. They're in P14. I think he tried to move, actually, but it didn't really pay off. But yeah, this driver, this helmet camera is looking really good, I must say. Really gives a very nice sense of speed, and yeah. As Gamba still is defending from Enis Parachki. These two have been at it for quite a few laps. But we got about 3 laps remaining now. You can see there on the lap times, Groff and Arnold are basically equal on pace at the moment. Ennis Parashi looks to be a bit faster than Franco Gamba, but he can't seem to get past. So yeah, but Ennis has been very, very patient behind that Force India. And Alfred Klaus, he's closing in again, and never mind. The gap's been 3/10 for as long as I can remember, it feels like. But yeah, they're very, very close, but none of them are able to overtake. This isn't really the best circuit for overtaking, really. But yeah, Lewis McIntyre. There's Ennis Prachi gonna try the move on the inside. That looks a bit opportunistic. He's gonna be on the outside there. Can he make it stick? The Macedonian. He's gonna have the inside coming into this corner now, and oh, as there Gamba gets forced wide, and I think Parachki's through as the trees obscure our view. But there goes Gamba around the outside, and he regains P13. Great battle between the two, and I think I thought Parachki would have had that one actually, but no, Gamba got the cutback on him, and yeah, Gamba's back into P13. But yeah, great battle between the two. I think Parachki saw the move and he did everything he could. But here is another McLaren. There's Linus Timell closing in on Victor Albom. Two Scandinavians versus each other. The Swedish versus the Danish. Age-old rivalry. Even in the ACOC it continues. But yeah. And this Pratsky, we're going to see if he will be able to have another shot at overtaking Franco Gamba, but at the moment it does not look likely. Alfred Klaus, 9/10 now is the gap to Evgy, so he's made a mistake, I believe. But Johansson still has not closed in. Or he has, but not by a lot. Here is Dennis Pratsky. I think he's going to try the move again. As the trees obscure our vision. Once again, it's into the same corner. And I don't think he's going to be able to go on the outside. No, he isn't. So he was a bit too far away that time. But we're going to see if we can get another shot at him. Here is Mohamed Patel closing it in on the Swedish Jesper Johansson. He's going to want to break that Swedish podium. Yeah, as there actually goes on the inside. That's not going to work. And it didn't. As Johansson is up. No, he's not up into P3. He stays P3. My apologies. But yeah, that means that Mohammed's lost a tiny bit of time behind Johansson. There goes Linus Timell on Victor Albom, the two former F2 drivers. Now battling it out in Formula 1. Albom defending from Timell at the moment. As Franco Gamba has actually increased the gap to Ennis Pratsky a bit. And I think Timell lost out to Albom a bit because that gap is up into 4/10 at the moment. But we are now on lap 28 of 29. 2 laps remain in this Australian Grand Prix. Miran Evgy's led every lap. And yeah, took pole position, led every lap. And if he gets the fastest lap, it will be the first Grand Chelem of the season. But here goes Ennis Pratsky. He's going to have another shot at the Force India driver, Franco Gamba. I think he's once again too far away to make a move. And yes, he is. I think you need to get the overlap into that corner to make a move. As Jesper Johansson, look how close he is behind Franco Gamba. But Mohamed Patel has closed in once again. Here's Linus Timell, the Swedish man in the McLaren. Obviously missed out on the Formula 2 championship last race. Timell, as here he is, but he's still got an F1 seat nonetheless with the Woking-based outfit. So I think Timell might be trying to move. Yes, there he goes. On the inside, can he get it done? As Albom looked to go a bit wide there, but he's closed the gap a tiny bit. But Albom remains P10, so good defending from the Danish driver. As here's Franco Gamba. I don't think Ennis Pratsky is going to get him, as we are now on the final lap. Lewis McIntyre. There he is. Rail Patel has been behind them all race. So he really hasn't. He's had quite an unfortunate race, Patel. He's not been able to overtake at all, I think. Yeah. I don't know if he gained anything on the start. I don't remember. But as there's Ennis Prati's trying to move again on Franco Gamba, but his efforts are unsuccessful. Gamba's just defending lap after lap after lap. But now Ennis is going to have to push it to the limit if he wants to get Gamba for P13 now. But it's going to be a very, very close finish. But winning the first race of the season will be Miran Evjev in the Ferrari as he sees the checker flag first and wins in Australia. And Alfred Klaus comes home a close second, and it's Jesper Johansson coming home third to make it a full Swedish podium. And Mohamed Patel comes home in P4, Dennis Scott comes home in P6, Arnold P7, Thomas Mandich, a incredible performance from him, P7, and his teammate Vojta Kulasek in P8. So Mandich showed incredible pace during that race. We will await on his pace next season, as I think Ennis Pratchki here is, I think he's going to be able to get Franco Gamba. He's going to come down to the final corner, I think, almost going to come out P13, and he has. Ennis Pratchki just gets Franco Gamba on the second to last corner, and Ennis Pratchki is going to come out P13. That was really close. And Ennis Pratchki will be P13, and Franco Gamba will be P14. Balancholga P14, Lewis McIntyre P16, and Rail Patel P17. Singh is P18, Suta P19, and last person to cross the line is Laban Snishka in last. But that is it for the Australian Grand Prix. Miran Evji wins from pole position. Mohamed Patel takes the fastest lap. And yeah, that is it for the first race in the 2018 ACOC season. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, it's been a pretty interesting race. An all Swedish podium. You can't really complain with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you tomorrow for the first race of the ACOC IndyCar season.